What is up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles back at it again with another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Hope you're enjoying your week so far. It's been good for me. And we're almost set for Memorial Day weekend. So that means a Monday off, Memorial Day sales, and hopefully lots of figures to pick up on sale. So I have a lot of stuff to break down, and I'm just looking at all this stuff that's on the horizon coming up. And it's just like, wow, my wallet is about to take a severe and serious beatdown looking at all the stuff that's coming from Hasbro's Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Transformers, the Masterverse line, so much stuff. Then, of course, Hot Toys needs to step into the ring and go, hey, don't forget about us. We got all those cool Flash figures coming. So lots of things to get excited about as we approach the second half of 2023. What's up, James? How you doing out there, man? I'm excited to get the show going. Glad to see you here. John, what's going on with you out there in YouTube land? So there's been a lot of stuff dropping, but of course, before I go any further, I need to make sure that I thank all of you guys for watching the show. And for those of you who have been supporting the channel, it really means a whole lot. And after your hustle and hard work last week, I was able to go and pick up that Mayfex Nightwing figure. It's en route to me right now. Got the tracking. Amazon actually had it for cheap in quotation marks, but it was pretty good and I was excited to get it. So thank you all because you were 100% responsible for making that happen. Green Man, what's going on? I am outstanding. Looking forward to breaking down all this cool, fun stuff. So, Glenn, what's up, fellow Avenger? Yes, today I'm not rocking my Avenger gear. Had to go with my Niners gear for the day. I've ran out of my Lakers gear. I'm not ashamed, even though we lost in the Western Conference Finals with the whole broom. That was terrible. But, we got 5 championships with Kobe and Shaq. Got one with LeBron. I can't complain, but so much. If only my Niners could do something like that, too. I'd be excited. All right, so let's break all this stuff down. There's so much stuff to go down. Target right now has a sale where if you spend $40, you can get $5 off. It's not their normal spend $50, get $5 off, or $100, you get $25 off. I'm sorry, that $50 sale, you get $10 off. So it's a pretty decent one. What's up, Miguel? How you doing? How are you doing? I'm also a new collector and have a good amount already. I'm hoping McFarlane makes more Bat fan members like Cass and Steph. Also just picked up classic Ant-Man 10 minutes ago. I am so jealous. I just went to Target and hoping to find him and absolutely no luck. They had Yondu and I was happy to see him, but I feel like I can wait a little bit longer. I have zero patience when it comes to my man, Hank Pym. And it was so cool that you all hit me up about something I'm definitely going to break down later on today. Mr. Cheeseburger, what is up? I'm not the biggest McFarlane fan, but that Batman has me excited. Oh, yes. That thing looks amazing. Definitely talking about that joint tonight as well. Can't wait for that Nightfall Batman. I feel like a lot of us are really hyped and excited for it. And every shot I see just makes me go, all right, this might be my definitive oval Batman figure through all my collections. So I cannot wait to see that thing. So like I was saying, Target has a sale going on right now. You get $40. You spend $40, you get $5. And with figures being basically you buy 2, you're over $50 after tax. So I was fully expecting to walk in, no problem, find something I wanted. And of course, I got in this whole deal of, well, shoot, what do I get? So I got 2 things. And of course, you can't really predict how these sales are going to work out because Target's pricing is wild. I always recommend when you're going into Target, you do that price scanner, take a picture of it. So that way, when you go to the front, there's some discrepancy. You can show them and they'll price adjust and all that good stuff. So I picked up Shrapnel finally to get one more member of my Insecticons. So now I just need Bombshell. So I can't wait to get him. We're really excited to get him. Rang him up on the scanner, $22.99, which is a little bit off because normally they're $24.99. And then found Masterverse Tila. The classic version. I was looking for this. I hadn't picked up the earlier one from the show, so I was really happy to get classic version of Tila with that modern articulation. Really excited. So anyway, she rang up as $19.99. He was $22.99. And then I got my Target circle and like, all right, great. I'm going to get $5 off this $40 purchase. But then he wasn't $22.99. He was actually $24.99. I was like, ugh. But Tila was one of those rare Masters of the Universe Masterverse figures that were actually discounted. She was $15. So it was a complete and utter wash. I didn't have to spend that much. I was nowhere near $40. So I had that for later. That sale goes on until the 29th. So if you find something, say if you were lucky enough to see Yondu and Ant-Man, you can use that, get a quick $5 off. It's not $20, it's not $5, or it's not $10, but any little bit off helps. So let's see here. What's everybody on here? What is up, Rodney? Hope everybody else is doing great as well. If you call them and give them the item number, they may give you. That's what I did. I can send that item number chat. Please do. Thank you. M. Beltran, what is up? What's up? You waiting to get that 5-pack West Coast or pre-order now? Did you see rock and roll? All those things. Yes, I'm talking about it for sure. I am so stoked about both of them, and I'm trying to be super patient on these next round of Joes. I don't know if I'm going to win on that, but I'm really looking forward to it. Ken Robinson, what's going on? Picked up the new Ant-Man from Target this week. Still on the hunt for Ryu. Yeah. Talk about those Jada toy figures as well. Speaking of Street Fighter, I did get the much anticipated Balrog from Ultra Street Fighter 2 from Storm Collectibles. This thing looks crazy. I cannot wait to break him down. Finally open my E-Honda figure, and it's really great having more Ultra Street Fighter 2 competitors in the ranks. And then I also got this massive Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat with his dragon, Enter the Dragon for real. This thing is heavy. It's really impressive, and I can't wait to open him up. Finally getting another non-ninja figure in the ranks, so that is very cool. All right, so let's see here. Let me just jump into all this stuff that I want to talk about because it's a million things. So sticking with that Street Fighter round, let's go with Jada Toys breaking out the brand new Chun-Li figure. And this figure really looks impressive. I mean, the articulation is fantastic. Head sculpt looks really good. It's got that bicep joint, double jointed elbows, wrist articulation. The sculpting detail on her hair is really fantastic too. She can hit this really deep crouch. I really like that. So you can do video game poses, which I really like. That's something that's a huge factor for me with the Storm collectible figures. Getting this from Jada Toys is really encouraging. Then we've also got her accessories so she can do her kick. Got a stand that's nice to hold her effects and hold her up a little bit. An alternate head. One other set of hands, which is not really the norm, but looks pretty good, especially considering the price tag. Here she is with Fei Long and Ryu, and I really like the looks of it. I'm really excited about Fei Long because Storm Collectibles still hasn't done him yet. Ryu looks cool, and I can't wait to see Ken and whoever else they add on this. My question, though, is how many more Street Fighter lines do I need to get? I've got the Soda Toys, got Storm Collectibles, and I'm probably going to get these because they look really cool. Like she's hitting the Chun-Li pose. Got her multi-kick pose going here. I mean, it's just a great looking figure. And it's like, well, geez, how many is enough Street Fighter figures? But I feel like I can get one more round of figures, especially that really affordable price point, $25, that really great packaging, really nice setup. What are you guys talking about here? Rock and Roll is on his way from Big Bad Toy Stores. Got the email today. James, I'm so lucky. Let me know what you think about it. Ken Robinson. Balrog, dude, that figure looks sick. Liu Kang, nothing needs to be said. That's my most wanted figure. Yeah, I feel like they've been kind of slowly starting to knock off more of these Mortal Kombat figures that I want. The Street Fighter line, I think they've made some really good progress, but I still want more of the classic World Warriors. Now Vega has to jump right to the top of my list of most wanted, right alongside Fei Long, DJ, T-Hawk, and a classic version of Cammy. But we're getting really close to them. 80s kid from the 90s. I did check out your Cal Kestis review. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing if they do any more characters from Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. Watching Return of the Jedi right now. Cannot go wrong with that. I wouldn't mind more gaming grades from Jedi Survivor. We are on the same page here. I didn't even see your comment before I read that. All right, Ken Robinson. Anybody have the DCPI for Ryu? I will put in the chat where you can get it from Entertainment Earth. You can get him and Fei Long and free shipping because I think that would almost take it out. But yeah, those are really great figures, and I'm really excited to see where else they go with that because There's some really strong figures. But since we talked about it already, let us break down this bad boy here. The McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Nightfall Batman. And this figure, whew, so much greatness to this thing. The head sculpt looks really good. And much like Captain America, I figure I'm going to have to put a little black paint right on that cowl piece just so I can have the classic comic book look. But the cape is flowing down just so. Got those little spikes on this gauntlet. Really nice. Double jointed elbows. Really good ab articulation here. And the utility belt looks so sweet. The colors are popping. I know there's some thought about maybe this is a little bit too light a gray, but I think it works in this case, especially when you start playing around with the lighting. It's going to look fine anyway. Here's the full version of the cape. It's not as big, not as sweeping and as massive as some of these other ones, but I really like how it looks. It's not going to get in the way of movement and posing this Batman, which I feel like a lot of us are going to go nuts trying to do with him. And he just looks really cool. He's got one Batarang. You know, if you've been collecting McFarlane toys, they're not overflowing on the accessory front, but this really looks great. I know we've got a Tim Drake Robin coming, but now seeing this Nightfall Batman, I'm kind of hoping to track down that Dick Grayson Robin, maybe even getting a Jason Todd Robin, because this figure looks amazing. I cannot wait to get this. Looking forward to that Steel, the Tim Drake Robin, of course. Lots of really good figures we're starting to see from McFarlane Toys. Miguel Perez, are there any members of the Bat family, Flash family, or any other family in DC you want McFarlane to tackle? Well, I mean, you definitely said one right there with the Flash family. There's so many, but that Jay Garrick has me excited and hopeful that we're going to see a lot more. I would love to see them go all the way. Do an old school Johnny Quick, do Jesse Quick, Max Mercury, a smaller, younger version of Impulse, a Kid Flash, who's a little bit shorter than this new Flashpoint Barry Allen Flash we're getting. That would be really great to see. I wouldn't even mind Excess. There's so many great characters in the Flash universe. I want Wally West in his Flash outfit too. I mean, we don't have that yet. We've seen the different alternate versions. So tons of Flash members. Bat family. I feel like that's the one area I don't have to say, hey, McFarlane, are you interested in doing some Batman figures? I don't think that'll be a problem. He's going to knock them out. But beyond families, I love to see him focus a little bit more on the Teen Titans or the Titans, whichever way you want to call them. Do that classic new Teen Titans lineup with Robin before he becomes Nightwing, Wonder Girl, Starfire, Cyborg, Changeling, Kid Flash, Raven, throw in the Speedy in his red attire as well. I'd love to see that. While I'm one, I'd love to see a classic version of Deathstroke the Terminator. I feel like McFarlane would kill that figure so much. I mean, that Superpowers version is really cool, and I'd love to see the classic Deathstroke look in figure form from their multiverse line. And also, I think that would be a really cool opportunity for them to do what they've done with this Flashpoint Flash and give us an alternate head without making that an alternate figure. So we can pop on the Slade with the eye patch going and just have him looking out for Adam when she's trying to shoot his eye out. Really fun stuff, and I'd love to see that in a figure form. James Green, McFarlane's getting better as the line goes on. I feel like that's what we kind of hope and want to see with all these lines that we collect. I mean, we can all kind of go, all right, you had some growing pains early on. I don't mind replacing the first year or so versions of figures if now you've improved and gotten all those kinks knocked out. I think the biggest thing for McFarlane still is scale, just making sure characters that are supposed to be bigger than other ones are bigger. Other characters who are supposed to be smaller. I saw that Superboy, the Connor Kent version in stores, and he's just like, he looks like he's the same height as Martian Manhunter. I don't love that. I know this is the more recent New 52 or DC Rebirth Superboy, but he's still too tall. I want a shorter version so he can hang with Tim Drake Robin, Bart Allen Impulse, and we can have Young Justice, the originators, the original crew back in figure form. Speaking of families, I also wouldn't mind seeing the classic Marvel family. So we have Captain Marvel Jr. in his blue, Mary Marvel, and along with Captain Marvel, we still need more of a comic book version of him. Mr. Cheeseburger. McFarlane has limited articulation, pins in the joints, but I want this guy. Yeah, it's weird because there have been some advances with figures that I think that McFarlane hasn't quite caught up to, but I think the sculpting and the unique efforts that he puts into most of the figures really makes up for it, where it's like, okay, yeah, you don't have pinless joints and you have some articulation issues that I kind of wish you'd fix, but they're getting really good, and I'm really excited about what they're doing. So you were suggesting, just imagine if they would add thigh swivel, pinless joints to McFarlane figures. It would be so much better. Yeah, yeah. Like the pinless joints, the thigh swivel, I think just a little bit better range of some of the articulation joints that they do have would make them so much better. Like if you got a better ab crunch where they could, like a figure like Robin, Damian Wayne, Batman could really hunch over and get some deep crouches, that would be really good. I would love to be able to have a Tim Drake figure where I could get him in that Robin cover where he's draping the cape around his elbows, around his face. That would be really cool, but we can't quite simulate that with these figures so far. TCP Toys, yo, hey, yo. I'm back. Well, welcome back. I'm glad to see you. Hopefully you'll be around and let us know what you're looking forward to with these figures. Then we also got Batwing, and Batwing is going to be coming up very soon. He's also up for pre-order May 30th, and that is next Tuesday. It's very exciting. So to get your comic books from DC, you can get Batman, you can get Batwing, and this is the very first Batwing from the new 52. I actually really like this. This is the Batman of Africa, and I really loved his outfit. I do think this sculpt is the sculpt is great. I feel like they could have done a little bit more to bring out some of these details, maybe throw in a black wash, get some of that out. I like the back wings, love that head sculpt. I feel like they could do a little bit more with the colors. He's got some accessory points. You got this blue exhaust for his jet pack, and then his little boot jets. I don't think they really thought through that card because it doesn't match this at all. And of course, he's got the stand, but Batwing is a really cool figure. I loved his initial run. I love when he switched over and did the other, Lucius Fox's son, and put him in there. I thought they really were cool. And I love to see both versions of Batwing in this line. This is a great start, getting another figure, getting another black character in the ranks here. And he will actually stand out amongst the rest of these Bat figures. So really excited about him. Then a figure I'm not as excited about. We're getting Two-Face's Batman. This is from Battle of the Cowl or Battle for the Cowl. I really love the sculpting that they did on this figure. Dedicated Bat logo right there. And then this head sculpt is really fantastic. I'm not quite sure if you can make out the black with the black here, the scarring of his face and all that good stuff. You can see he's got the coin in his hand. So that's pretty cool. They're actually going all out with this Two-Face's Batman deal. I love the color switch too. It's just not quite what I wanted, especially because I wanted to get a Two-Face before I got this version of him. So that's another one that's coming up. So you get those 3 figures up for pre-order on the 30th. Nightfall Batman, which I assume all of us want. Batwing and Two-Face's Batman. So it's a pretty nice haul for McFarlane Toys coming up real soon. Mr. Cheeseburger, you agree the ab crunch would be great. Yeah, I feel like that's that. If there was one articulation point, I think that would make those figures so much better, would be that for sure. TCB Toys, let's hope the scale of the Nightfall Batman scale is good. Yes, I'm going to need him not to tower over Superman or anybody else. If he can just be like eye to eye with Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and the inevitable, hopefully coming Guy Gardner, so we can do that one punch without him looking like a bully beating up a really small Guy Gardner. That would be awesome. Ken Robinson, that Batwing looks sick, looks like Iron Man. I think that was kind of their thought with him because when they were doing New 52, the MCU was really taking off, and I liked his costume. And because he was in Africa, he had totally different storylines. He didn't interfere. He didn't have a whole bunch of Batman rogues coming through. He had his own villains, so that was cool, and I really love what they were doing with him. Are these being sold as exclusives, or will they be available everywhere? I think they're going to be, no, I can take that back. I think for sure, I know for sure they're going to be at Target. They had the pre-order window or had the listings up earlier. I think they're taken down right now, but on the 30th, they'll be back up at Target. I'm assuming that McFarlane Toys will have them on their McFarlane Toys shop page as well. So there are lots of options, and I'm sure our good friends at Entertainment Earth will also have them. Of course, I'll put the links up when they go up. I hope that Batman scales better with the original Nightwing, not that Titans Wave Nightwing. Yeah, I was so excited about that Nightwing when I saw him because I missed out on the first one. I was like, I don't want to go this hard into this line. And I was like, yeah, I do. And then the Nightwing just became so expensive, it wasn't even an option. And then I was really excited to see this Titans Nightwing. But then I was like, why can't he hold his sticks? Why didn't you give him swappable hands so he could just hold them and still do punches? And then what's the heck is the deal up with his head sculpt? And why did you give him a smaller book? It was just a bunch of stuff going on there. James Green, we really need a regular Two-Face. I mean, we've got the movie version coming. We've got Two-Face's Batman, but we still don't just have a classic Harvey Dent coming. Just so weird. I remember Batwing from the animated movie Batman, Bad Blood with him and Batwoman. That's how I got introduced to those characters. So I'm trying to remember. I think that version of Batwing was not the not I think that was the Luke Fox version, not the David. Who was my guy's name? It was David. Of course, they're not going to pull me out here as soon as I go to look. Yeah, of course, they didn't put it up. But yeah, he was really cool. The Luke Fox version, I think, took over right around like after the first year of the Batman in Africa. His adventures were cool as well. But yeah, check him out on Amazon. This is a quick link where you can see Batman: The Lost Kingdom paperback is pretty much dirt cheap. It's $287. It's only the first 6 episodes, but it was really good. And I thought it was a cool way to go for a character in the Batman mythos that we don't know everything about. And he has this whole free reign to do whatever. So check it out. $3. I mean, that is even cheaper than a burger now at McDonald's. 80s kid from the 90s. I'm disappointed with Nightfall Batman being a lighter gray instead of the dark gray like we were promised. So they did a video that posted on Instagram, and it actually is that same light color, but because of the photo, because of the angles and the lighting, it looked a lot darker in the picture. But I'm assuming that it's going to catch the dark light really well, the darkness pretty well. It's going to cast all kinds of shadows. So I don't think it's going to be as bright as it seems in those pictures. But I understand what you're saying. I thought it was a little too light, but I'm really excited to get it. In worst case scenario, I can just do a little dry brushing with the gray paint and call it a day. Ken, you got the Mayfex Nightwing. Those are the only DC figures I collect at the moment. I would be so happy if Mayfex just decided every month we're going to do 7 figures as opposed to 2. And it may not be one of those waves you care about. It feels like it's that big rotating wheel where it's like where it's going to land, nobody knows. It's, hey, this time we're going to do Star Wars figures. This time we're going to put out Justice League from the DCEU. We're going to do a re-release of Aquaman. We're going to do The Boys. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. And you wanted more Batman Hush figures? You want more Nightfall figures? Sorry, you're going to have to wait 3 more months before we put them up. So this whole 2 release thing a month is really frustrating. But when I get Mayfex figures in hand, all is forgiven, which is why I kind of want them to do a whole lot more often than they're doing right now. I heard we're getting Batwoman from McFarlane or from Mayfex. I think for sure the rumor I did hear was that she's coming from McFarlane Toys. They have her coming, so that'll be pretty neat to see, especially because that'll be another Batman figure and it'll be a woman, so Todd's brain will explode. That's Rod. Will Todd ever do a Michael J. White Spawn figure? I wonder. And I feel like whenever that Spawn movie that was supposed to be in the works with Jamie Foxx, I'm assuming that's, of course, delayed right now because Fox is still recovering. Maybe that's an opportunity to put it out so he could do a old school Spawn movie figure and a new school one with the Michael J. White head sculpt and a Jamie Foxx head sculpt. Might be a way for them to put it out there and make it relevant for everybody. TCP Toys, we need another Bane figure because I missed my chance with him. Me too. Hopefully Todd can re-release him in his Nightfall look. I would be so disappointed if he does it because we got this great version of Nightfall Batman. I really wish he would just, I feel like this would have been a great wave to do a Build-A-Figure wave and make Bane the Build-A-Figure because we get Nightfall Batman, so many other great characters, so many villains he threw in there that anybody would work. Two-Face, Scarecrow, Joker, so many characters. Maxie Zeus is even in there. So there were a lot of ways, options he could have gone. So I would love to see that as a Build-A-Figure, but I wouldn't mind just a re-release of Bane as a Mega Fig coming back in this thing because I really need that Bane, especially now. We are getting a classic Riddler. I mentioned that last episode. Let me see if I can pull that up real fast. But he is coming. So I do know that that is a figure that is definitely in the works, and he will be coming shortly. Let me see. I'm going to pull this back up so you all can see. So this is a list that I saw. I'll have to track it down so I can give proper credit. But this is the list of figures that are slated to come out the rest of this year. So we're getting Catman, or at least for the first half, because we're still just about to approach June. So I'm sure with McFarlane, we'll get a lot more figures. We're getting Catman from Battle for the Cow, Superman versus Ultraman and Atomica. That's a multi-pack. And another one is Batman, Batwoman, as I already mentioned, and Clayface. That's another multi-pack. I'm really curious to see what they do with Clayface in a multi-pack. Then we're getting Batman and his Bat Raptor. Then we're also going to see Atomic Skull and Superman. Then the classic Riddler, a version of Green Lantern that I don't want, the DC versus Vampires version. Then we're getting more Dark Knight figures. Bane, Joker is a bank robber and interrogation room Joker. Two-Face is Batman. We can check that one off. Jason Todd is Batman. So that's one more we got to see still. Azrael is Batman from Night Quest, which is great. Hopefully, I assume we're going to get a gold label version of him so we can paint him red too. Then the rest are a bunch of Aquaman movie figures that I'm really not that interested in. We've seen the Dread Lantern, Green Lantern, so we know he's coming as well. So lots of stuff still on the horizon from McFarlane Toys and lots of stuff to be excited about. Hopefully, we'll see some more classic figures in the mix as well. Yeah, I feel like we are going to see that Nightfall Batman repainted, maybe black and white as a gold label. There's lots of options for him to repaint those figures on. I don't know who's going to be my top 10 DC figs for 2023. So that's the fun. And that's why I put it out on the poll on community section. I want to hear from you guys. I did this last year where I did a progress report of all the figure lines that I collect. Some Farland Toys, G.I. Joe Classified Series, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Transformers, Storm Collectibles, all the stuff. Star Wars Black Series, everything. So what I want to know from you guys is which ones you want to see me do first. I know some of you all have voted right now. Not so surprisingly, Marvel Legends is in the lead. G.I. Joe Classified Series is right behind. So we're going to break it down and just say, hey, what have been the best figures so far at this point of the year as we're approaching the halfway point of 2023? What are the best figures they've got? What's the outlook for the figures that we know are coming? What things they can improve on? And what are some things you've really been impressed with in the first half of this year? So I think we're going to start off with Marvel Legends, but McFarlane Toys is definitely on that list. And I think they're going to have a ton of contenders for an overall top 10 because so many good figures coming down the horizon from them. Dwan Crawford, what's going on? Hasbro is finally coming back to its core buyers with the West Coast Avengers set. It's what we wanted when we were kids. Kids, adults, grain adults, the whole deal. I mean, I will continue to want all these figures, so I'm really excited about them. Power Girl and classic Wonder Woman, please. Green Man, I think it's so absurd that we're still asking for a classic Wonder Woman, but hopefully soon Power Girl should be another figure. I'd love to see McFarlane Toys just start dipping his toes into Justice Society because there's a rack of those characters and so many really fun ones like the younger or Adam, Our Man's costume is so cool. He'd need the shading, but he's a great character. Then he could do a deluxe set with Johnny Thunder and the Thunderbolt, Spectre, maybe a regular version. Maybe we could do like what they did with Atom Smasher from the Shazam, from Black Adam movie, where we have a regular size Spectre, and then we have a slightly mega fig / deluxe version of him so he can just tower and intimidate people. I think that'd be really cool for the Justice Society. Also, did you see the Spider-Man 2 gameplay? I can't wait to play it and the other two games. I am really looking forward to this. Oh, even though I still don't have a PS5, I will wait. I'm stockpiling my great upcoming games till I get that PS5, where this is definitely going to be one of those that I pick up. A retro carded 7-inch superpower subline would be a great way to get classic versions of characters into the line. John, that's an awesome idea. I would love to see that because I feel like when Mattel was doing them, they had done pretty much the superpower versions the first go around with so many of those characters. And it was like, why do we need a dedicated line for this all over again? But McFarlane doing that with, geez, that line could stretch out for so long because it was what, 3.5 waves of superpower figures. It'd be really great to see. And maybe he could go on further to the rumored next wave of those figures. But if he could just do those would knock out so many of my top 10 wanted lists for McFarlane Toys, because still need a great classic Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Hawkman, Plastic Man. I wouldn't be mad at an Elongated Man either. A Calibac, Steppenwolf, Mantis, both versions, Dark Side, classic version, Dr. Fate, another JSA character. Lots of characters that we could throw in there. So I'd love to see that. That'd be fun. Frustrated Fan Sports Show. What's up, my guy? How you doing out there? And I need a PS5, which is available on their website. I know, for real. I was like, for so long, it was, get your PS5. Where are you going to get them? Nobody has them in stock. Now it's like, hey, we've got PS5. So I don't know. I'm doing a silent protest of waiting it out. Some of that is because I still have way too many great games still left to play on my PS4. Like, I'm literally right now playing Mass Effect, the original version, because PlayStation Network had it as one of those monthly free games. It's like, I'll take that now for free. Really awesome deal if you don't have it. The Mezco Black Suit Superman looks great. I pre-ordered mine. I know it'll be 2 years for it to come out. Yeah. You know it's not going to be right around the corner. And it's just like, all right, well, hey, what a surprise. In 2027, my Recovery Suit Superman is finally here. But that figure looks awesome. And I love the fact that they geared him up with so much stuff. And he looks really cool. And it is literally the version of Recovery Suit Superman that I wanted to see for so many of these different characters, so many lines that have tackled that figure and that look. This one is definitely the best looking one of the bunch. I'm going to pop him up real fast for everybody who hasn't seen what this guy looks like, because he's an amazing looking figure. Can't wait to get this guy. But yeah, got the classic mullet look. That looks amazing. Then all these different head sculpts. We've got the pre-rebirth version of him. Got the yelling beard. Got a calm beard. All these hands. Display stand. The ammo pack pouch on his leg. Then we got the broken down, tattered and bruised and ripped up Superman cape with a stick holding it up. That's a great touch. Then we got the rocket boots and the thruster effects, the clean version, and then the I'm going after Cyborg Superman and Mongol. And I love the ammo packs there. I mean, this is really classic Recovery Suit Superman. And then we got the Cyborg Superman head sculpt, which is just like, are you teasing him too? Because I'm down for it. But lots of great accessories. I just think this is awesome. I really love that Mayfex version, but this one, whew, it's a great looking figure. Can't wait to see it come out 2 years from now. Mr. Cheeseburger, McFarlane releases don't have a great deal on continuity. I was wondering if you were McFarlane, how would you release figures? I think I would do more theme waves. It felt like he was doing that a little bit more, but I'd love to see him do more stuff like that Titans wave, where we got 4 figures, we got a builder figure. I really don't like when he spaces them out, like we saw with the crime syndicate wave, where it was like 1 month we'd see one member, one part of the Starro build a collect and connect set, and it'd take another 3 months for another figure. Love to see all those figures come all at once, so we can just kind of build more like that traditional Marvel Legends setup. But yeah, there are lots of lines he kind of gets started on and then he doesn't get back to. So I'd love to see him just kind of focus, like, all right, for this year, I'm going to do one Titans wave. I'm going to do one Justice Society, one Justice League wave. He's not going to knock out all the characters, not everybody's wish list, but if he focuses and just goes, this is my checklist, I want to do these theme waves every year, that would be a lot better. And I love to see just in a sense between, one release from the next, like complementary characters. So we got that Nightfall Batman. Great. Now we got a Nightfall Tim Drake Robin as well. We've seen the Steel that's coming. It looks really great. And we've seen a classic-esque version of Superboy. But I love to see if he knocks out one of those, then he starts doing more of them, where he's focusing and going, all right, I've done this version. Let me knock out this one. Wouldn't be upset if he did a Green Lantern with the white temples, the Green Lantern construct sling, so he could really do that whole Reign of Superman, final battle with Mongol and Cyborg Superman. That's what I'd love to see him do. What would y'all like to see? Zero Triple Z, what up? I would love if Mayfex did another comic book DC line. Which storyline characters would you choose? So I cheated. I did a video on this, but I'm gonna go with it again. So I would love to see a Blackest Night wave because that way it can encompass so much of the DC universe in one. So if I go, let's say 7 deep, I'm gonna go with Hal Jordan, Barry Allen, because there are two main characters in that. We get a Lex Luthor out of this. And when I mention these characters, it's not near alternate pink, yellows, Sinestro Corps, Red Lanterns. It's their classic looks. But I wouldn't mind some of the other lanterns like Larfleeze, Atrocitus, St. Walker. He'd be really cool. Star Sapphire, John Stewart. Like, I'm cheating because I can throw in so much. An Atom figure, and maybe I can make him with some articulation, even in small, tiny Atom sizes. I feel like having Atom like this in super small mode doesn't really help him do anything. So I'd love to see an Atom that actually move. That'd be great. Who else was there? I'm trying to think of some of those other avatars, maybe Scarecrow, but that would be a cheap way for me to get more of those figures. Then I'd love to see another wave focus dedicated on the Rogue War of Flash, where I can get Flash, Wally West, Captain Cold, Trickster, Weather Wizard, Captain Boomerang, Reverse Flash, Trickster. I said Trickster already. Pied Piper, Heat Wave, and let's see who else would I throw in there? Magenta, and let's say Wally, or let's say Bart, Impulse, knock him out as well. Lots of different characters that I could choose from. That's just right on top of my head. But another one could also be an Infinite Crisis or Identity Crisis, where you get a whole Justice League wave. Hawkman, Zatanna, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Dr. Light, Deathstroke, Kyle Rayner, Wally West, Flash. Let's see, Elongated Man, finally. And yeah, and Rocket Red before they kill him off. Robert, what's going on? Party's always here. You're not late. Legends barely, just for character selection in my brain. Yeah, I think that would work too. Jada Toys needs to do Resident Evil. There's apparently, my buddies sent me this survey that Capcom put up for Resident Evil figures, and I didn't finish going through it, but apparently there's a survey going out. I'm not sure who the license holder would be for it, but you want to see Resident Evil figures, maybe that's the way to do it. I would be all about getting the Resident Evil series in 6-inch form with great articulation. That way I can continue building my Capcom versus Marvel roster and lineup. Ken Robinson, I need a PS5. Yeah, it's funny how many of us are like, oh, these games look great, but I'm going to wait till I finally get a PS5. At least we don't have to worry about not finding it anymore. TCB Toys, I need another Eradicator figure. I passed on that gold label version. Yeah, because the scale of him, too, I need a new body buck for the Superman 3. Use that body buck for Ultraman to create a new one. Yeah, and I wanted to see him with regular flesh tone so I could pass him off as Superman before we figure out the cyborg Superman's the traitor. 0000, I need a Mafex comic Flash. I think they would do an amazing job with him, and I can't even imagine the different effects they would give him. You know, we get the lightning flash coming behind them. Maybe they would just set up a whole red and yellow translucent lightning bolt effect piece. And then, of course, the swappable heads. Maybe they could get away with kind of doing a different cowl, so you could have a Wally and a Barry, depending on the time frame. But then, of course, I'd love to see what they do with the rest of the rows. Captain Cold for sure would be a really great one because they could do all kinds of ice constructs for him, and he'd be really fun. Captain Boomerang, the same deal. Weather Wizard, lots of great options. Of course, the Trickster would have some cool stuff as well. Mr. Cheeseburger, Marvel Legends figures came with 2 head sculpts, 4 pairs of hands, and power effects would you pay $32 for. See, for me, the power effects would need to be more of a variety than what we've been getting. I feel like they've been using the same 2 effect pieces for so long. I know they're slowly introducing some new ones, but I need to see a way greater variety before it's like, oh, power effects, sure. And the 4 pairs of hands, I think that every character needs them. I think in some cases it really matters. I think I'd lean more towards it if they had more head portraits. Because there's some cases like that Black Knight figure where you could kind of double dip and get 2 figures and you could have more than one character. That would be great. But as long as they're willing to upgrade those figures, use the appropriate bodies, of course, no Bucky Cap figure if you're going to charge $32. they're at 25 now, and 32 seems like a stretch. But if they added more, like we saw with Mattel with the WWE line, where they were throwing in alternate head portraits, really big accessory packs, in addition to the figure, then I can see, oh, that's where my money's going towards. It feels like Hasbro's kind of gone the opposite direction. They're taking a build a figure piece away from the figures, which is a huge deal for me. That was something that was selling me to buy a figure, even though I didn't really want it. It's like, I got to complete this build a figure. But I felt like I was getting value because I was getting an extra figure along with those 6, or in some cases 8 figures that I was using to buy the wave. Playing me right now too. Which one are you playing? I'm not sure I got that reference. Ryan, what's up? I finally gave up and bought TVC box set, the Vintage Collection box set of Fiery Figure and Dan and the Modal Nodes. I think I just saw your picture of it. They're glorious and occupy a special display apart from the rest of my Star Wars figures. I did not realize those were the Vintage Collection figures. Those are pretty cool. And if you still want them, I'm pretty sure Best Buy has those guys on sale for the super, super low price of $9.99, which is crazy to me because I figured those guys were not going to be cheap for a long time, but now you can get them pretty easily without too much trouble. Let me see if I was right as I scroll down on their site. All right, so let's see here. We got, yeah, there's Pondo Baba for $10, Endor Leia, Baze for $10, Wreckers $22.99, Jar Jar's $12.99. Looks like he may actually be finally gone off of here. But yeah, they had some really great sales on this website for figures. Yeah, it looks like he's gone. But yeah, you can still find him. I know I went to Ollie's just on Sunday, and they had Ponda Baba, Dr. Everson, and the Figure and Dan set. So lots of options still to get your cheap Figure and Dan and his crew. Shout out to Bones, Necro Zoo, and why Todd not going full throttle on characters we want. Batman heavy, but it depends what Batman comic story it is. I dislike that Dark Knight Returns Joker Batman. Yeah, I want to see him do a little bit more. Like, I think Nightfall is wide open in terms of great character selection that he could just do for a really long time and knock out so many classic versions of these guys. I'd love to see him do more of that or just focus on something. I wouldn't mind seeing his take on Hush as well, because I think he would do some really good work with the sculpts, especially on Jim Lee figures. Blackest Night would be fire. Thank you, Ken. I feel like that's a really cheap and easy way. I managed to have a little modicum of restraint and not say, I want Mafex to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, but that's my next one. I think another one they could focus on and really do well is Infinite Crisis. I know that's cheating because it's the sequel, but there are a lot of core characters they could just focus on. Superboy Prime, and his armored up Sinestro Corps eventual outfit. That's something I think that they could do and just have a swappable piece out so we could have him in different hands. Then we could make it to a Sinestro Corps. So maybe that's a way to do that, but I think he'd be cool. Sinestro Corps War would also be another one that I would do for Green Lanterns for Mafex, because really great, really cool storyline, and that'd be awesome. Ken, I don't know what story it is, but the animation Justice League War, if Mafex did those figures, they take my money. Are you talking about the one where they fought Apocalypse War, where they killed off all the good characters? Or are you talking about the one where Darkseid was running around like a squirrel or something? It's really weird. I need another Aqualad figure. I was disappointed on the scale of him. I was going to put him on my Teen Titans Young Justice shelf with Nightwing, the original version, Wally West, and Superboy. Let me guess, he's way too tall, because he looked tall. It's like they're teens, and between him, Superboy, Connor Kent, who else? They just did another. Oh, Impulse. They're all the same size, and they're way too tall. He needs to do a medium size where these teenagers are about the shoulder length, or maybe even a little bit lower than the heroes, the adult heroes, because part of the fun of seeing these young teens is that they're not as big and tall and big and bad as their adult sidekicks or heroes. They're smaller and can get into action. That's the whole point of having teen sidekicks in books, not making them the same height as the adults. The effects for Mafex Flash would be crazy. I think it would be so awesome to see what they would do with him. GCB Toys, I need to see an Orion and Light Ray 2-pack. I would love to see that. Hopefully, he'll do a classic version because 2 packs of New Gods would be really cool. Big Barda, Mr. Miracle, High Father, and Dark Side. The Forever People, you just do 2 packs, and then, I guess you could just do 3 because you got 5 of them and you still need to do the Infinite Man anyway. So, yeah, that'd be great. I need to see a Marvel Legends Sin Eater. I think that'd be really cool. I bet they'd have to change the name up just a little bit from all those mothers who'd be clutching onto their pearls hearing that name. A Metron figure with the Mobius chair. That was around the part where I was really feeling like DC Classics was here for me. When we were getting figures like them, we got a pretty solid collection of the New Gods. I still think they could have done High Father, the Forever People, but they got a lot done on that end, and they could have done a little bit more with Darkseid's minions. I don't understand why we didn't get Granny Goodness, Kanto, but we got pretty good on those. We got both versions of superpowers of Manus, Calibac, Steppenwolf. And the Steppenwolf and Manus figures are awesome. Really great job on those. TCP Toys, more New Guys figures. Todd, are you out there? Are you listening? Yes. Green Man, thank you. Playing Mass Effect 1, 2. Yeah, I've heard everybody say how great it was, and I have a huge backlog of games, and when this came up on PlayStation Network, and I'm kind of this weird phase now where it's like, well, if it's a good enough game, I'll just wait to see when it eventually comes on PlayStation Network. And when this has all 3 games, it was like perfect. So my patience paid off for a change. It's amazing how the second Death Star still had a weak spot. I mean, they just built it so poorly. They just followed the blueprint right down to it. TCP Toys. We're almost done with the Bat Family characters. It's the first family we've gotten since this line has started. We need more Superman family for sure. Green Lantern family for sure. I mean, they're so core Green Lanterns we don't even have. I don't know why we don't have a Guy Gardner yet. But then there's Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, all the different versions of Green Lanterns. I mean, I'm surprised that he hasn't taken advantage of doing more monstrous type characters under the Green Lantern umbrella. And then he can go even further with Sinestro Corps, Red Lantern Corps, Orange Lantern Corps, Blue Lanterns. It's so much. It's so wide open for him. And I don't know why he hasn't done more. Flash family, Aquaman family, etc. Yep. Just bought 4 Marvel Legends for $23 at Best Buy. You did all right. Cheeseburger. Let me know which ones you got because I'm curious what they have over there. Robert's Infinite Realm. Same. I think Todd is too all over the place, and I want them scaled to my Legends. I am okay with them not working with the Legends because I still have my DC Classics that are kind of still working with them. And in some rare cases, the DC Icons figures actually kind of work with them too. So I don't have to have them be the same scale. I feel like Mezco is kind of satisfying that itch for people who want compatible scale figures in the same line with the same aesthetics. So I know they're more expensive, but that's the way to go with it, especially since Todd is not going to do a 6-inch scale version of anything at this point. Todd's wet dream is that super roided out Batman for when he was a vampire. That one is coming too, so get ready for it. Speaking of Hush, we need a comic accurate Hush from the store, like for example, Mayfix version. Yeah, I was excited to hear that Hush was coming to McFarlane. And then when I saw the figure, I was like, dude, what are you doing? This is terrible. I mean, it was just, that figure is really disappointing. And I don't know why he thought going that route with it was going to work. And I still feel like you can get that figure really cheap with 0 effort. And back, not even that long ago, you could get that figure really cheap. Actually, speaking of really cheap, the Mayfix, the Mega Fig of Bane is $78, and I think that's the cheapest I've seen it for a very long time. So if you're like me and we're interested in that, you can actually track it down now. But let me see here in this Hush figure, because I do remember my disgust at seeing this whack-looking execution of Hush. I don't understand. He's got the trench clothes, just like, it's just really uninspired. Did not like it. I'm really hoping we see a better version, but I do have that very sweet version from Mayfix, and that's an awesome figure. Frustrated Fan Sports Show. It'd be nice if we come redo the Kingdom Come figures. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of really cool figures, lots of options for that. I mean, we did see the Kingdom Come Batman, And you knew Batman of any version is possible, but I think there's a big audience for doing those lines, at least for the main characters. I'm surprised he hasn't done more of an Alex Ross inspired look for some of his figures, because I think those two, the aesthetics of McFarlane toys and Alex Ross visuals, make for really fun figures. And they don't need that much articulation either. McFarlane, please give us an original and new 52 Dark Side. Now, I haven't checked in a while, but I'm very curious to see what that DC Icons Dark Side is going for now, because, geez, that was a really huge figure, and I didn't want it because it was a little bit too big for me. Goodness gracious. Well, if you were curious about the DC collectibles version, it's super expensive at $335. Clearly not worth it, but yeah, there's an option if you wanted to save up your money and get that figure. Oh, I meant Justice League Doom, where they fought the Legion of Doom. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that was great, and I'll be down for those figures for sure. And Beltran, I don't understand how Marvel Legends uses the same body mold for Blur and Ant-Man, but make the Blur pinless. Who decides who gets pins and who doesn't? Now, this is an interesting question, because I did not remember that Ant-Man has pin joints. I don't understand why any figure now has pin joints. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because it seems like something they should be knocking out. You are 100% right. That's not good, because it feels like we're too far along into this where these figures do not need to have any pins in any joints. That's really weird. That's not going to stop me from getting a figure, but yeah, that's a real interesting question. I think they should be consistent at this point. Like, why are we still seeing Bucky cap molds being used for figures like the Orb? And I know it's not a big deal, but you got better bodies, better options. Use the better options. Don't go old school and stick with the stuff just because you're used to it. Brick and Tire, what's going on? I'm a simple man. I just want a classic Etrigan and Jason Blood 2-pack. And it's funny because there's so many figures that he's done these random wacky alternate takes on, but hasn't done the classic version. And this would be a great 2-pack and something that should be pretty cheap and easy for him to do, and just do it that way. So I'd love to see that too. 0000, thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. This will definitely help improve the quality of said channel, and I'll be talking about all kinds of fun stuff that I pick up thanks to your contributions. I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. TCP Toys, that last Etrigan figure was bad. He's not buff and taller. Give us a Zatanna and Detective Chimp. Yes, those would be really fun figures. I would love to see what he would do with Detective Chimp. I feel like, unlike his counterparts over at Hasbro, he wouldn't charge $25 for a Detective Chimp figure. He'd probably figure out some clever way to make him a 2-pack with some other figure, so we wouldn't feel like we're getting gypped off. But I would love to see what he would do with Detective Chimp. And Zatanna is another classic old school Justice League member. And I'm not sure if I want her in the classic Magician's outfit or her George Perez design with the cape and the whole deal. I think either one would be fine. Maybe we could get that since we didn't get it from DC Classics. Frustrated Fan Sports Show, thank you. I appreciate the support, and thank you for commenting and being really active during these conversations we have every Thursday night. Appreciate you. Jobber King, woohoo! You did make it to a live stream. Welcome to the party. We're just getting started. TCP Toys, we need another Damian Wayne, even though the rebirth wasn't too bad, but the head is too big. Dude, seriously, he's too big, and he was the figure that really had me going, do I want to stick with this wave? Because I was so frustrated with his articulation. I was like, dude, he can't do anything. And I love the sword, the big size of it, but I just was like, come on, Todd. This is a figure that needed you to go all out with. But then he started making more classic versions of figures, and I decided, well, maybe I'm not done yet. So, yeah, good point. I'd love to see a better version of Damian and lots of different outfits for them to choose as well. Northern Nomad, thank you. I can't believe McFarlane still hasn't done Sinestro, but yet does a Yellow Lantern Batman. Exactly. It's like, come on. He doesn't even have a Sinestro Corps leader for him to work with. And why do we get this variant of Batman before any member of the Sinestro Corps? I'm wondering if maybe, just maybe, he's going with this so he can do a mold sneakily of the Sinestro Corps and just have him in the works, because I really Do not understand why we got this figure first already. And let's take a look at it here. But yeah, I mean, we got this Sinestro core, and I'm trying to figure out if we could use. I mean, we got to lose those gauntlets, of course. Take the cape out, but maybe he could use most of it for his Sinestro core base body. Maybe, but I think we really need that for sure. Because, gosh, I still don't understand why we don't have Sinestro to go along with everybody else in this thing. So yeah. Also, the scale of Hush is bad. I'm sure it was bad, but I was never going to find out because that figure just looked terrible. Green Man, yeah, that Hush is so mediocre. A 2-pack should make you want to get it and not miss out. Yeah, but that definitely wasn't the case with him. Todd needs to do Justice League Gods of Monsters. I really did love the animated movie. I think Todd would murder it. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, we're getting that as the overarching theme for these James Gunn, Peter Safran films. So maybe McFarlane will revisit that. And I really love that movie too. And I'm very surprised they never did anything else with that because that would have been really great. Northern Nomad, I can't believe McFarlane still hadn't done a Sinestro yet. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, there's so many of the opposite numbers of these heroes that he's done that's kind of weird. We don't have Sinestro in either version. We don't have a Captain Cold. I know we've got Reverse Flash, but Captain Cold's a better arch enemy for him because he doesn't have super speed powers. He just has to rely on his guile to beat Wally/Barry. But yeah, TCP Toys. You're with me. I need more Legion of Doom characters. I already made a shelf for my characters. Now, that is one thing I'm really happy with DC Classics. I have a complete and full Legion of Doom, and they're amazing. And it's so cool to be like, yes, those are the characters from Challenge of the Super Friends that I used to watch. Excited every week. I'm so happy. No Wendy and Marvin and Wonder Twins up here stealing all the thunder from my guys. Beast Kingdom Darkseid is a good figure. Let's see how good it is. Kingdom Darkseid. All right, let's see. Tell me about something. I want to see it, and want to make sure that everybody else can see it too. So here is the Beast of a Beast Kingdom Darkseid figure. Love that head sculpt, the design. That's really good, and he looks big and huge. The Omega effects, nice and crazy. They're all over the place. Wow, that's a nice looking figure. The Omega. Yeah, that's a strong looking figure there. For the low price of $150, it's actually in stock now. So if you guys are interested, there you go. Astro Doctor Strange, Mordo, America Chavez, can't remember the other figure. So I got the Astro Doctor Strange, and I was talking about completing Build-A-Figures. That was the last one I needed to build Rentra. I've had the rest of the figure. Now I was just waiting on his head, but I could not justify paying $15 or $25 for that Doctor Strange figure that I did not want whatsoever. So I was really happy to see him on sale, and yes, I got him. So yeah, you made out pretty well getting that Multiverse of Madness wave for so cheap. It's a really good deal. I just need the scale for DC Multiverse to be better. I'm with you, TCP Toys. That is the big problem that Todd is having right now. He's doing really great figures, great designs, but it feels like he didn't have the formula down. It's kind of like Jax-esque in that sense, where you never know if they're going to be scaled properly to each other. Making me a glass of blue milk. Intermission break. I paused movie. You got to get your blue milk if you're going to be rocking with Return of the Jedi. Especially after they tore up poor Jabba's place. Roberts, Infinite Realms. I need Legion of Doom, but I want Wrestlers versus the old cartoon. Hawk and Animal versus Toyman and Lex Luthor. That'd be fun. Man, Toyman would get killed out there. We got to put Gorilla Grodd and Solomon Grundy in a matchup against Hawk and Animal. What a rush. Mr. Cheeseburger, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. That is awesome of you. Thank you. And you've been such a long time commenter, so I definitely appreciate you continuing to stick this thing out with me. We need insight into the cost of toy production. I would love to know all this stuff. Maybe I can try to track down somebody who's willing to come on and chat with us about the cost of toy production. I know sometimes, Action Figure Attack will try to talk as much as it can on different forums. But I really do want a little more insight in terms of like how much it costs to make a figure with a raised collar off of a collar scope we've already got. That'd be nice to see. So I'll see what I can do on that. Hopefully, if I haven't followed up, check me back in 2 weeks. I'll see what I can do. We need more Flash Road characters. Jeff Johns got me so hooked onto all those rogues. I was like, these guys are pretty cool. But after he took them, I wanted Captain Cold, Trickster, Weather Wizard. Weather Wizard was never cooler than when Jeff Johns was writing him. I mean, he was just such a cool, like, oh, I got this situation. It's just really in focus. Mirror Master, Trickster, Jesse James, Trickster, Pied Piper, Turtle, Abracadabra, Gorilla Grodd, even the new rogues. There's so many. I just feel like Plunder. We need a bit more of these guys, and hopefully Todd will get around to them. Maybe we just need to be like, Todd, do these characters. They're really cool. I feel like we're not getting Don and Dawn Allen figs anytime soon. No. I just think you could hold off on that thought. I can almost guarantee you we're not going to get them for a very long time, if it ever. Miguel Perez, I'm hoping for another She-Hulk figure from like the 70s or 80s. So, which way are you thinking? Like the ripped, shredded dress where she's just running around as Savage She-Hulk, or the She-Hulk where she's rocking more of an Avengers-style leotard where she's hanging out with the team? And wow, spelling is hard when I'm doing this live. All right, let's see here. Which image do I want to see? All right, let's see. Let's go with this one. So we're thinking more like this, the classic version of She-Hulk with the leotard. Hopefully something really simple, really easy that we could also convert into a Fantastic Four version. I really love to see that because She-Hulk is a really great character. And I know that she kind of got done dirty by her show on Disney Plus, but I felt like she's such a better character. And yeah, they had just done her better. I think everybody been really excited about her show, about her figure, because boy, it was not a good thing. So yeah, for sure. I do want to get a repaint, get her in this Fantastic Four attire because I really liked that run when she was part of the team. She filled in the gap that Thing left when he vacated the team to stay on Battle World for a little bit longer. I'd love to see her in that Fantastic Four attire, but first we got to give her in her Avengers gear too. By the way, Rip Tina Turner. Yes, we don't need another hero, but we could use a playing of that song one more time. Every time I hear it, I get hyped up. And Tina was a really great entertainer, influencing so many of our stars, like the Queen Bey right now. TCB Toys. We need another comic book General Zod figure. The scale and head sculpt was bad, but the design was there. Also, we need his wife. You know, I mean, if they're going to keep doing movie figures, I am so partial to my original 3 Superman villains, and those are the characters that I would buy, even though they have better, cooler designs in the comic book. I don't care. Their movie designs were awesome. If we get a Terrence Stamp likeness, the whole deal, I want those crew in figure form. Shane Shooter. Yeah, but I want a lawyer outfit She-Hulk too. And I feel like that's something where they can have a little fun and make it like the Comic-Con exclusive or a Pulse exclusive. You know, we used to get those kind of playful figures back a few years ago, but I feel like they've just kind of stuck more to a traditional version of figures. But this would make for a really great exclusive and maybe something that Hasbro should consider. I almost said Toy Biz, but yeah, I think that would be a cool offering as an exclusive. Cal's Master would be a great Gaming Grace Jedi figure. Yeah, he would. I'm surprised we haven't got anybody else. I thought the show was cool. Then it was weird though. When She-Hulk, yeah, I was kind of with it right up until that ending episode. I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. I don't think it's as funny as they thought it was. And it was really baffling because they had no clue about the legal system. So it was like, all right, well, I guess we'll just have to do wacky action. But that final episode was a little bit too far for me, especially since there was no payoff to pretty much anything. Robert's Infinite Realms She-Hulk show is questionable, but I love the show design of her in that figure. That figure was awesome. I mean, I wish I had liked the show just a little bit more because that figure was amazing, especially when they had her on clearance prices where you get her for as low as $7. Figure was really good. And then Hot Toys version of her looks really great too. I remember She-Hulk from that Disney XD show. That's how I imagine She-Hulk should be. Yeah, that won't surprise you if you watch it from that. Mike, what's up, man? All right, so let's see here. What else did I want to talk about on today's big show? So we've been mentioning him, and I've been talking about it for a second, but let's go into this other reveal that dropped today. The Hot Toys Batman smiley face version here. This is a faceplate, so he's got different ones you can use, but goodness, I'm starting to get a little bit more excited about this Flash movie. And I have been big time, oh, it's going to be terrible. Who cares? Because they're moving on to a whole new universe. But everything I'm hearing is about how awesome this movie is. I'm going to get the chance to see the screening in a couple weeks, but I'm actually getting excited about it. And part of it is because Batman himself, Michael Keaton's going to be showing up. And this Hot Toys figure they just dropped today looks incredible. I mean, check out all these wrinkles in the face. They always do really great head sculpts, but I think this one has so much character with the wrinkles, the expression. It really looks like Michael Keaton. And I'm sure for a lot of you, Michael Keaton was probably the first Batman. Adam West was mine, but the movie version was really cool too. And just look at all of this. I mean, the details. It may look a little bit too old, but he looks really great. He's got the rolling eyeball technique. That's always fun to use in the figures. So we can do that. Then you can do the glide. I mean, that looks amazing. This figure looks really good. And I can't wait to see him in action. See a little crouch. So this outfit is not as restrictive as it was in the movies. That's a really good thing to see. And just a really great overall figure. Lots of accessories. They made a point to talk about the articulation, the eyeballs. It's a light up LED base, so he can light up when you put him on there. Then there's a cowl accessory as well. And just so you can see, he does have the cowl, so you can actually put it on him. Those 3 different face plates. Very awesome looking figure. Can't wait to see this guy. And I'm not looking forward to spending the money to get him, but yeah. Smiling Batman is nuts. Yeah, it's crazy. He does want to get nuts, though, so that fits. Agents of Smash is an unappreciated classic. I probably need to revisit it because it's been a long time since I've watched that show. And I was at my snobby cartoon phase where it's like, no, that's not good enough. So I may like it more now. TCP Toys, the PS4 Spider-Man is basically our MCU Spider-Man movie. PS5 Spider-Man showcase how Spider-Man should be portrayed for the MCU. So this is another reason why I need to get that PS5 eventually. Miguel Perez, I'm making 5 Marvel and 5 DC sections, and they are Avengers and Spidey, Spider-Man versus Sinister 6, Fantastic Four, X-Men and the Cosmic Characters, DC is Bat Fam, Super Fam, Flash Fam, and Black as Night and Justice League. I think if they did any of those, I'd be really happy. But yeah, for sure. Did you see Across the Spider-Verse Hot Toys figures? Why, yes, I did. And that's going to be one of those deals where it's like, well, how excited am I? And do I want to go this far down this rabbit hole? But since you asked, let's take a look at them. So we got the Spider-Man 2099 figure. I'm a little bit upset that they decided to say, hey, Spider-Man is Miles Morales is going to be fighting him. Because I really wish they had just kind of left that more as a secret. But we got a separate eyeball rolling deals for him. Got the Miguel head sculpt animated version. So he looks pretty good. It's got that cool looking cape. I think that looks really great. I don't know if this design works as well for Hot Toys for what they do, but it looks great. And I think he's going to be a really fun figure. I'm just a little nervous about this price point, $250. That seems excessive for this style of figure. Then, of course, we got the companion piece, the Miles Morales, and he's small. He's 285, so he's not cheap, but got a lot of gear. He also has the alternate street gear wear, so that's nice. Got the effect piece where he can have his spider sense triggering. He's got a background, and that's also cool because you can see Spot coming in and out of it. That's a nice touch. And then street clothes, Miles Morales, really cool. So very nice looking figure. And maybe this alternate gear warrants that price tag. I think it's a nice looking figure. So really cool and nice to see that they're continuing with them. I hope that they will do the Spider-Gwen very soon. We'll see other versions of other Spider characters from this film. Man, Hot Toys puts on some fire stuff. I have the Black Panther one and the Cap one. I have to have Batman now. It's a slippery slope when you get into Hot Toys because it really sets the bar so high. Like, well, do I really not need to get this version of him from the movie? Yes, I need to get it too. So just be warned. It gets really hard to say no to him. Oh, I just bought McFarlane Keaton Masked Batman. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really solid figure, but whew, Man, looking at the Hot Toys, I think I'm going to have to start saving my pennies and getting it now. Someday the Spidey comics will bring as much joy as the video game. I don't know what is going on with those comic books right now. All I know is I'm not happy with everything I'm reading. They just are driving me nuts, and I feel like it's all about shocking the fans now as opposed to delivering great stories. And then just going, hey, let's throw this out here and get people riled up and excited. Then we'll bring this character that we killed off back, and you'll be happy. Speaking of characters that are now back, though, some exciting news for old school fans. Rom, the Space Knight, is returning to Marvel. They're going to be putting out an omnibus and maybe some more comics, but this is really cool if you're an old school Marvel fan because Rom was fighting the Dire Rays and they had this huge storyline in Marvel, the Dire Rays war, and he's teaming up with all the different Marvel heroes and definitely a regular in those various books. So here's him fighting alongside Iron Man, Captain America, Beta Ray Bill, Wolverine. They're taking on these Dire Rays. And there's Tiger in the background. Interesting. So got lots of really cool figures. I love to see some Dire Ray figures from Hasbro too. Maybe that's a 2-pack option. Some Dire Rays, and then we have a single figure Rom. No telling if Rom is actually going to get a figure, but the fact that he's now back is a nice indication that Marvel and Hasbro will bring him back into the fold as well. So it's really exciting. Speaking of exciting, let's go to this thing that you all were like so excited about. I was really hyped up and so geeked to see the 5-pack of the West Coast Avengers. And oh man, it was really funny and cool. You guys were all like, yo, I know you were happy because you saw this. And yes, I was really excited. Was not expecting to see this set at all. Got a new Silver Centurion Iron Man, and he's got more of a comic book accurate colors, got that white, got the mask. Now you don't see anything. I still think to be comic book accurate, we should see his eyes. They didn't really fix the neck piece, and it looks like his backpack is still missing, but I think it's an improvement over the original one we got. Then we got a Spider-Woman. She's an improvement over the old version of her, better hair sculpt. She's got pinless joints, so the age-old debate on pinless joints versus who has pin joints continues, but she's really good. And finally get a better version of Tiger with non-Cheetos colors. This is the one that we should have gotten. I know some of y'all are going, this is whack. We got this double dip of 3 figures that they should have released this way in the first place. I think for Tiger, I don't care because that first one was just terrible. And this is so much better. Then we get Mockingbird. And I still think that they need to take this white piece down a little bit more closer to her cleavage. That's how she rocked it in the comic books. And maybe if they repaint this blue section, we could fake that her sleeves are longer. Some of you guys mentioned the Lady Deathstrike figure, and I think that would be a really great choice there for figures to use to actually get a better version of her sleeves. But my main one that I was so excited to see, Hank Pym in his red jumpsuit, his adventurer gear. That's really cool. I'm so happy to see this figure because that's the look I've been clamoring for such a long time now. And we get him in figure form. It's so exciting. And we get these Avengers that I've been looking forward to. A better Tigra, Hank Pym, Mockingbird, so I can kind of complete my West Coast Avengers. I still need a mullet version of Wonder Man with that tank top and the W and not the red stripes along his legs and arms like we have right now, but really close to getting my ideal West Coast Avengers, and it's really cool. TCP Toys. We need another Static Shock figure. I'd love to see Todd's tape for Static in his Malcolm X version. Yeah, that to me is the version of Static that's my version of Static. And I love the fact that when DC Icons did their version, they actually knocked it out like that. And I was like, whoa, you guys, you're on my wavelength now. You're doing this version of Static, and then pop that bad boy up. That was a great figure. And I wish they could have done more just in general with this line, but oh man, this Static figure, classic milestone, got the hat going, the manhole. That was a really nice touch. The base he could stand on. I love this figure. I wish they had knocked out the Blood Syndicate icon rocket like this. The DC Icons figures were so much fun. And I just wish they hadn't gotten ended so soon because they were really great figures. And I'd love to see more of them in action figure form. TCB Toys. It'd be cool if we got in the Killing Joke wave. I feel like that's something you don't have to ask Todd twice about. He's gonna knock that out eventually because I actually think a rumor we got Joker coming in that attire, so it might not be too long before you see that. By the way, I didn't much like the animated movie of it. Yeah, that was. I'm trying to remember. That was the one with the problematic Batman and Batgirl relationship, which was like, what are you doing? I think that was it, but yeah, did not enjoy it. The Radiation 74, love your channel. Your voice is amazing. I just wish you were seated in front of your collection. Keep up the good work. One of my favorite Legends YouTubers. I will make sure I do a picture inserted in the background and with the magic of green screen tech. I'll shoot it out so you guys can see it. I'm midway through shooting all these figures I have on reviews, and half my Marvel Legends collection is in the basement, but I'll try to shoot it in a way that makes it seem like more up there. But since you asked, I'll give you a sneak peek of what it actually looks like, so I can show you my random Avengers small corner. That's just one shelf or one side of it. There's my West Coast Avengers with my current West Coast Avengers crew, and you can see the Cosmic Dudes on the side there. So yeah. Mike Hetz, I hope Red Sonja ships soon. She is coming from, what company's putting those out? That figure looks really cool. If I am thinking of the same one that you're talking about. Yeah. That figure really did look good. And Entertainment Earth already sold out. But the figure looks great. Really great work on the shading, the articulation, holding that axe looks great. Looks like she gets some really strong poses, double grip on the sword. She looks bad, like she is really ready for war. I love to see this figure. I'm really hoping they do a Conan figure for Marvel Legends because that'd be really great. Toyshiz just posted his review of Yellow Lantern Batman. How is that even possible? But yeah, I got to check it out. Toyshiz does good work. Yes. Nice collection. Thank you, Andre. It's kind of like a mess right now because so much stuff is in states of being reviewed, but I'll do one later where you guys can actually see it and I can walk through everything with you guys. Are you thinking about getting Mortal Kombat 1? The game, yes. I love the story of Mortal Kombat. I think they've done a really good job of keeping it engaging and just telling the story all over again. And I'm mad at them for doing another take at it. So yeah, I'll probably get it for sure. Yes, I will get it. Checkered Targets Ant-Man Comic Book Classic is hitting shelves. He's actually hitting shelves in Maryland, but the Targets that I've gone to so far are coming up with a big goose egg. I'm looking forward to getting that figure, pin joints and all. So yeah, really looking forward to him. I think they did a really good job with him. So let's see here. Let's talk G.I. Joe because we can never talk about that too much. Entertainment Earth has now just posted its teasers for June. As you all know, Yojo June is coming up. We're getting the teases, and it's exciting times now if you're into G.I. Joe. So on June 6th, we're going to get our first one. This teases we're waiting for something marvelous, and we might just get it. But we can't say what it is yet. So not sure what that is, but it's always cool to see a Marvel Legends tease. But then on June 14th, I assume this means we're going to get some news on a live stream on Tuesday, June 13th. Lasers fire their boots on the ground. It must be Yojo June. That much we're sure of. But what are these figures? Set up a reminder and find out. So that's very exciting. So we know for sure pre-orders for some new G.I. Joes are coming up June 14th, not that much longer. So can't wait to see. Let me know which ones you guys want to see coming because we know a decent amount of figures. We know Low Light, Tunnel Rat, General Hawk, Tripwire, Grunt. So many figures have been named. The Dreadnoks, Buzzer, and Ripper are slated. Big Boa, Shadow Tracker. So lots of figures we know are coming, but it'll be fun to see some more pipeline name reveals and then these prototypes of the figures they've mentioned a while ago. And then on June 21st, the next week, we're getting more Yojo June releases, reveals, pre-orders. Hey, it's Yojo June. Are we going to tell you what it is? No, but you can speculate. Maybe it's Joe. Maybe it's Cobra. Could it be the October Guard? Ain't telling. Now, that's where I'm like, hold up now. We're going to throw in the October Guard in this mix. I'm very excited. Tell me more, because if we're going to start introducing the October Guard into this classified series, I'm just going to give them the award for my favorite toy line of 2023 by June. Because October Guard are great characters, really great designs. And if they knock those characters out, I'm all for it. Cannot wait to see those guys in figure form. Man, probably in stock if you have DCBI. I should. The targets around here sometimes get very confused with that. They go, let me look at the price scanner. It's like, okay, this is a lost cause, and then they get lost in the stock room, and it's whatever. Most of these exclusives will come out. It's just a matter of being patient, which, as an action figure collector, we're all super, super patient. I'll get them. Rock and Roll is in stock, apparently. Yes, he is. He absolutely is. And this is, speaking of patience, is also the big test of it, because Big Bad Toy Store has Rock and Roll. He was in stock. Literally, I had this page queued up, but since then, he's back to pre-order sold out, which is crazy because I guess everybody heard word that he was up on Big Bad Toy Store just like a half hour ago or an hour and 20 minutes ago. He was up, so everybody who wanted him can get him. So now I don't have to worry about being patient. He's sold out at Big Bad Toy Store, and yeah, so no need to worry. We'll just have to be patient and wait on him like we do everything else as action figure collectors. Andre, I'm super excited to find out what the G.I. Joe HasLab project is going to be. Hopefully it'll be something like a tank. There are lots of options, lots of potential choices for this. I'm not even really sure what I'm hoping, because that's the beauty of the G.I. Joe line. There's literally everything that I could possibly want still at this point. There's so many figures, so much stuff left that it's not even going to matter right now. It's like, oh, well, come on, just bring it. So let's pull up this last update from the good folks at His Tank, because they put out bigger images of this stuff. And let's see what it reads here. Oops. Our recent meeting at HasLab, this from General Hawk, was a rousing success. Unfortunately, their collaboration with Mars Industries to develop a fleet of armored high-speed sentries, aka the Hiss, is too far along to halt completely at this stage. Once presented with irrefutable evidence of the terrorist activities sponsored by Cobra, HasLab agreed to work in tandem with G.I. Joe weapons developers to mass produce a G.I. Joe vehicle with significant counter-strike capabilities. I will need your full authorization to move forward with these plans. The Joe team will need some new recruits as well. Let's put out a call. We want the best and brightest to join the operation. My full report with recommendations should be ready early June. Yo, Joe Hawk. Now, potential recruits is a folder that popped up. This is part of the design or the teases. And some people are going, hey, 24, that's the Dragonfly. So maybe that's what it is. And then other people were like, actually, in the figure checklist, the Wolverine would be number 24. And that could work, because if you have that, then you've got CoverGirl already set. Maybe an alternate part of the tier could be her with blonde hair. So not lots of options there. Between the two, I'd want to see the Dragonfly, because we can get Wild Bill, maybe default. Then another tier, we can give him cartoon colors. Then there's Airborne that we have to have. Ripcord would also work with him too. So lots of options. There's 3. And then, of course, they could throw in some weapons, gear, some exhaust, missiles, and all that stuff. I love to see the Dragonfly. I still wouldn't say no to a Snowcat because of the teases earlier with the Frozen Fudgies and Quick Kick. Lots of options. But I'm not quite sure what figures I want to see with a Wolverine outside of a CoverGirl. I mean, they've already done so much in the 1983 lineup that I'm not really sure where they would go. I am wondering, though, if they could engineer the bridge layer, make that a tier where it just has a connection piece where that top anchor part to the bridge layer. I feel like I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this. So let's just go to our friends over at 3D Joe's, and they can break it down a little bit better so I can show you, as I'm talking about it, exactly how this could work, where you take the part from the Wolverine and use that. All right, so here's what I'm looking. Here's what I'm talking about. The Wolverine is basically this piece here. And then we just add this little piece with a bridge layer and little twints of there to hold up the bridge layer. I think that could work. And I think that would probably work a lot for an extra tier. So we get a little extra value out of it. And this would probably mess me up, because I probably want to get a separate Wolverine and a bridge layer, and then we could have that issue solved with what other figures we would get with CoverGirl and having bridge layer toll booth, because nothing stops the bridge layer. That would be really cool to see. So we'll see what happens. See what you guys think here. I wonder what would have happened if Vader lived. Star Wars Theory has really cool theories on that. He just did a recent one. What if Anakin never became Vader? So check that out. Mike, what do you think of Mattel Hasbro plan? What do you think we will see? G.I. Joe Hot Wheels is a no-brainer for sure. Transformers as well. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do and when we see some news of that. From what I read originally, it's just going to be movie stuff right now. I don't know if that's going to change over the years. So Hot Wheels Transformers seems like another obvious choice, and random Mattel or random Monopoly games, Mr. Potato Head, Superman, that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I guess not Superman because they don't have it. McFarlane has it now. Devin, rock and roll reminds me of a Valiverse figure. Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny how it's like, well, who's taking cues from who now? But yeah, I want that rock and roll. I think he looks cool, even though he's not the classic colored tone that I want. Wow, that was fast. It sold out so quick. It's crazy. Yeah, James. I mean, I was like, whoa, here he is. And now he's gone. I wonder how fast it's going to be for the rest of those as they slowly creep in and out of stock. Frustrated Fan Sports Show is going to be the Snowcat with the panels to change it into a Bobcat. I wouldn't be upset with that either. I feel like they did some cool stuff with the His Tank where the different panels. So you can have the classic look. You can have the modern look. Not going to be upset if they do that too. So I'm always on board for the Snowcat. I'm definitely on the Snowcat hype train. Love to see it. I wish it were a Tomahawk. Yeah, Mike, that would be cool. I'm wondering if the Hasbro team has like a maximum space on these HasLabs, like what's too far, how much space can we reasonably expect people to pay for these vehicles? And I wonder if they're kind of designing them in a way where you can kind of create it and piece it together. I don't know if a Tomahawk would be easier because it has more of a cylinder space, but maybe that's the way they can get around it. Because, part of the fun for us is putting our vehicles together. Like, oh, here's one piece, we put another one, slap it together, and got that satisfying snap in, and everything's not moving around or floating. It's nice and firm and tight in there, and no problem. So maybe that's something they can come up with. Jason Loves, dear brother, how are you? Hope you are enjoying your honeymoon. How much did your wallet scream when you saw that Hot Toys Batman? It sounded like a million people on Alderaan all at once, suddenly going silent. That was the sound of my wallet. And I was like, what's this noise? I was like, oh, then I saw the picture of the Hot Toys Batman. So yeah, it was brutal. Mr. Cheeseburger, we need the vamp. We need the vamp. We need clutch. I think that's kind of the fun thing right now where the classified series is because you can literally say, we need this vehicle, we need that one, and everything is valid. We need the Thunder Machine, we need a Rattler, we need a Night Raven, we need a Havoc. I mean, there's so much stuff and so many great vehicles from the Joe team that a lot of it seems viable under the HasLab presentation. Maybe the Havoc could work. Snowcat for sure. The Vamp is an essential Joe vehicle, but I feel like that's one that I really hope they can figure out a way to get onto retail or the Pulse, not under the HasLab banner, because there's obvious choices in terms of what they could do with it. There's the Vamp 2, there's the Stinger. I feel like there's probably some Night Force, Tire Force version that they could do as well, and those would be easier repaints to swallow if you didn't have to pay $300 or so for the first version, and then they try to get you again for another repainted version. So I'm hoping that's an exclusive they can just keep basically on the Pulse website. We need to see more figures from the DIC era. Those figures look really cool. I hated the cartoon. I started trying to watch it again. I was like, ugh, this is so bad. And I think it was a combination of the animation and the designs and the voice acting. I was like, oh boy. But yeah, they were really, really great Joes around that time period where it's like, oh guys, come on. So yeah, let's see here some examples of this classic version of G.I. Joe, the DIC version. Because boy, let's pop it up here so you can see a little bit more what you're talking about. Alley Viper, Python Patrol, Televiper, Zorana, Zartan, Destro, and Serpentor. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff going on here. Night Creeper leader, Lady J, Topside, Ambush, really good characters. It's a lot. I mean, they were better characters for sure than what we were getting from those the cartoon. And it's a shame because some of those characters would probably be a lot more fondly remembered if they were around during the Sunbow era where the cartoons were really good. Is it crazy I still want a 40 Return of the Jedi Vader despite inaccuracy? I'm definitely one of those collectors. I don't know and can't not keep up with all the different changes for Darth Vader's costumes and accessories. So I'm like, this looks cool. He's got great articulation. He looks menacing. And besides, I never really had too many Darth Vader figures because I need one for my Rogue One shelf, need them for Star Wars and A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Kenobi, Return of the Jedi. I mean, I've got great use for any version of Darth Vader. So if they tell me, hey, he's coming with this, I'm all for it. A new head. Mike, which one are you talking about, bud? Mobat could be a great HasLab. It would. And that's something I'd be really happy with. Steeler. Maybe this is a way for them to do a more retro style breaker and give him the clean shaven look with a bubblegum accessory piece like that old 3.75 version. They could throw a clutch in that too, because he also rode in on that Tanks for the Memories storyline with Steeler. So that'd be fun to see those guys. And then maybe you could do a Hawk when he's Colonel Hawk before he gets his general talks and all that good stuff. Mattel and Hasbro may go deeper. They might, Mike. I'm really curious to see what they do. And there's lots of fun possibilities for what they can come up with. Mr. Cheeseburger, yes, I need all green R&R. We need the green 13 retro card versions. Yeah, we need Scarlet, like top of the line. I don't know if I would be upset getting a Stalker with more colorful camo too, because what they did was pretty cool. But I feel like that's the one thing where they're not doing enough. They're not doing a good enough job making the camo more distinct from one part to the other. Mike, I think now that they're seeing what 3D print, they may go as big as Sunday. Yeah, because people are doing some amazing 3D sculpt work, vehicles, accessories of stuff. I mean, I'm seeing some crazy stuff out there on the net, and I'm really impressed with what people are doing. They're doing some fantastic vehicles, accessories, play sets. I'm like, I want that. And of course, because they can't put it out to the masses, there's no way I can get it. So lots of really cool stuff. And we just got one more week left of May. Come this next live stream. It'll be June. I don't know how soon into Yojo June we'll get started, but hopefully they kick it off Thursday with a live stream, and that way we can break it down Thursday night. But thank you guys so much as always for tuning in. Lots of fun as always for hanging out with you guys, talking figures. And thank you so much for everybody who contributed. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys next week on Thursday at 8:05. As always, thank you so much. This episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.